I'm going to teach you a topic, hyperemesis gravidarum. Hyper means excess, emesis means vomiting, and gravidarum means gravid is the state of a pregnant uterus is known as gravidum. Okay. So basically hyperemesis gravidum means excess vomiting which occurs in pregnancy is known as hyperemesis gravidum. Okay. The definition is it is a severe type of vomiting of pregnancy which has got deleterious effect on the health of the mother and incapacitate her in day-to-day activity. So basically it's the severe type of vomiting. It is not a simple type of vomiting but severe type of vomiting which has got deleterious effect on the health of the mother, means which disturbs the health of the mother and enable her to do her day-to-day activity. Means that vomiting is so severe that she is not able to do her any activity, plus her health is affected by that vomiting which occurs in pregnancy is known as hyperemesis gravidum. Okay. So what are the adverse effect of this vomiting? The severe type of vomiting, if a person have a severe type of vomiting, what will be the adverse effect? First of all, we will have dehydration. Person go through the dehydration because excess water is lost from that. Okay. The second thing will be acidosis. All the acids will get deposit in the body and the things which should be excreted through the urine will not get excreted. So acidosis it will be there, then dehydration, metabolic acidosis and alkalosis, plus imbalance of water level and weight loss will be there. We will see the incidence of hyperemesis gravidum. Previously hyperemesis gravidum was in excess form. It used to be very severe condition. If females get that condition, she used to get dehydrated and probably there will be many conditions which she will be affected. But past 30 years the incidence rate has been reduced. Now in 1000 pregnancy only one case of hyperemesis gravidum will be there. Now why this thing is very much reduced? Because proper hospitalization is available, proper antenatal care is available, early diagnosis of pregnancies are available, plus good drugs like antihistamine, antiemetics, good drugs are available, which has reduced the incidence of this hyperemesis gravidum. Okay. Now we will see the etiology of hyperemesis gravidum. Etiology means what is the cause of this hyperexcessive vomiting. Okay. Basically the cause is not known, but probably they say there are some causes which may affect this condition and which may produce this condition. Okay. So first cause will be the first trimester, means in early pregnancy, like first month of this 3 months of this pregnancy, first trimester we will have this condition more severe. In first pregnancy we have this condition more severe. Then if the family history, means if that pregnant lady's mother was having this condition, she may probably have this condition. Then other medical condition, like if the hydatid form mole is there, multiple pregnancy is there, in such condition these things can happen. Then unplanned pregnancy, if we don't know it's an unplanned pregnancy, in that condition also we can get the hyperemesis gravidum. Okay. So basically the cause is not known, but probably first trimester and first pregnancy is mostly we see this female are having hyperemesis gravidum. Theories have put forward that what may be the cause of hyperemesis gravidum. First theory they say is that maybe it is due to the hormonal imbalance. Hormonal imbalance means in early pregnancy we have HCG hormone, that is human chorionic gonadotropin hormone, that is produced in excess, or that is the main reason of hyperemesis gravidum. Then other hormones like progesterone and estrogen imbalance, due to that also there may be hyperemesis gravidum. Then other theories they say psychogenic theories, that probably aggravates the nausea once it begins, means once you have vomiting started it will probably aggravate, means once you vomit suddenly you feel like vomiting again. So this may be psychogenic effect. Then neurogenic element sometimes plays a role, as evidenced by the subsidence after shifting the patient from the home surrounding, means if any change is there in your surrounding that may lead this psychogenic cause. Then some dietary deficiencies like vitamin B6, vitamin B1 and low carbohydrate diet, that may also cause the hyperemesis gravidum. Then some allergies or immunological bases like decreased gastric motility, means if you are not having proper bowel, if your stomach is full, that time also you may feel like vomiting. So these are the some theories which is put forth, like hormonal, psychogenic and vitamin deficiencies or some allergic or any immunological disorder. This may also cause this hyperemesis gravidum. Some pathological things they have said that anatomical finding in that the starvation and severe malnutrition, this may also cause a hyperemesis. In this condition also there may be hyperemesis gravidum. Liver, there is a centrilobular fatty filtration without necrosis. In kidney we can see the fatty changes. In heart, hemorrhages, or brain, hemorrhages in the hypothalamic regions. Okay, so these are some pathological finding which is seen in this hyperemesis gravidum.
3.
Due to this hyperemesis gravidum, the metabolic, biochemical and circulatory changes will be seen. Okay, so first we will see what is the metabolical changes. In metabolical changes, due to the inadequate intake of food which results in glycogen depletions. When you have hyperemesis gravidum, you will be vomiting more and you won't feel like eating food more. Okay, that time what happens, whatever food supply which we need for our body to regulate the circulation will be depleted. Okay, so there will be glycogen depletion. Then the fat will be broken down into smaller pieces to use as a carbohydrate, and all the ketone bodies generated will get deposited in the body. Okay, so this metabolical changes happens, that is glycogen depletion will be there. Then in biochemical there will be loss of water, loss of salt and dehydration will be seen. In circulatory, hemoglobin percentage will be raised high. Why? See, because your water loss is more and your blood concentration will be high, because there is no water in your body to have a proper circulation. So your HB level, your hemoglobin level will show high because of its high concentration. Okay, and RBC count and hemocritic value will be high. There is slightly increase in the white cell count, which increase in the eosinophil. Okay, so these are the circulatory changes which we can see in this thing. Okay.
3.
Okay. Now we will see clinical course. In clinical course, we can divide this hyperemesis gravidum in two forms. That is early hyperemesis gravidum and severe hyperemesis gravidum. In early hyperemesis gravidum, you just have severe vomiting and it is manageable. Means you can do your day-to-day activity with this having excessive vomiting. But in severe cases, you have severe vomiting plus you have dehydration, and after the dehydration you have starvation because your water level is lost and you are not able to have a proper food because of the vomiting. So starvation will be seen.
3.
In early, as we said, it is manageable and there is no severe any physical changes, but in late stage we have to see the sign and symptom. In late stage, symptom will be increase in vomiting with frequency in retching. You will have more retching. Then what will be there? If you have more vomiting, your water level will decrease, right? So you have urine quantity is diminished. Your urine quantity will be diminished. You will be having oliguria. Then we have epigastric pain plus we have constipation, and complications may appear, like if not treated there will be other complications. So basically what will be the symptom? You have less urine content, that is you will be having oliguria, you will be having constipation, you will be having abdominal pain and excess vomiting. These are the symptoms. Then what are the signs? That is features of dehydration and ketoacidosis will be seen. What are the features of dehydration? You will have pale face, your face will be dried, you won't have any energy to do the work. These are the features of dehydration. So what are the signs? You have dry coated tongue, sunken eyes will be there, your eyes will be inside, acetone smell will be there because of the high concentration of ketone bodies, tachycardia, your heart rate will be increased, tachypnea, you will not be having proper oxygen level, so your breathing will be not proper, rising temperature may be noted, jaundice at a late feature. Such late cases are rarely seen nowadays, and vaginal examination and ultrasonography is done to confirm the diagnosis of the pregnancy. So basically in early stage you won't have any signs and symptoms, only you will have the excessive vomiting, but in severe cases you have the signs and symptoms. So symptoms will be dehydrations and What are the signs? The dehydration and ketone bodies. Okay, and symptoms will be your urine is less, plus you have abdominal pain, plus you have constipations, and sign will be acidosis, ketone acidosis, and dehydration symptoms.
3.
Okay, as the hyperemesis patient comes to the hospital, we have to do certain investigation. Okay, so what investigations we have to do in this case? First, it will be urine analysis. We have to collect the urine and send for the analysis. And in urine analysis, we will see quantity will be small. It will be dark color, high specific gravity, acid reaction will be more, presence of acetones, and bile pigment, diminish or absence of chloride. Okay, so the urine will be concentrated and all the concentrated changes will be seen in this urine. Why? Because of the dehydrations. Then when you do the biochemical and circulatory routine, like you do the blood test, what will be seen? Periodic serum electrolyte, sodium, potassium, chloride is helpful in the management of this case. All these levels will be changed. Sodium chloride level will be diminished, potassium level will be diminished. This all changes will be seen in this hemogram. Okay, then you have to do the ophthalmological examination. Why you have to see the ophthalmological examination? To see whether there is hemorrhages in the retina or not. Okay, to find out whether there is a hemorrhagic changes in the retina. For that we have to do the ophthalmic examination. Then you have to do the ECG when there is abnormal serum potassium level. When you do the ECG, you will see the serum potassium level will be changed. Okay, with the changes in the serum potassium level will be seen. So these are the examinations, investigations you have to do: urine analysis, your regular blood hemogram, ECG, and ophthalmological examination. These 4 investigations you have to do. Now diagnosis, how we will diagnose if it is hyperemesis gravidum? First of all, you have to do the sonography. You have to do the sonography and find out whether she is pregnant or not. If she is pregnant, then it is confirmed that what vomiting she is having because of this condition or not. Okay, so first you have to confirm the pregnancy, and it should be of a first trimester. Then ultrasonography is useful not only to confirm the pregnancy but to also exclude the other causes. Okay, now what will be the differential diagnosis? Means what are the conditions which are similar to this condition? Like the excessive vomiting, in other condition also it will be seen. So what are the differential diagnosis? In spite of usual treatment, other causes of severe vomiting, surgical, medical should be considered and investigated.
3.
So in differential diagnosis, we have to find out whether this is severe vomiting or not. Okay, like other conditions, if you have first trimester or other than first trimester, in late trimester also sometimes you have this excessive vomiting. So you have to differentiate whether this is first trimester hyperemesis gravidum or vomiting is caused by some other cause. Okay. Now we will see the complications. The major of the clinical manifestation are due to the effect of dehydration and starvation, which results in ketoacidosis. Means basically what will be the what all complications will be there? It will be because of the dehydration and excess of water loss from the body. Okay, so first will be Wernicke's encephalopathy due to thalamin deficiency. When thalamin deficiency, that is vitamin B6 deficiency will be there, probably Wernicke's encephalopathy may develop. Then potentized myeliolysis, then peripheral neuritis, Korsakoff psychosis, stress ulcers in the stomach will be seen. Then esophageal tear will be there, jaundice, convulsions, coma, and renal failure. These are some of the complications which can be seen in this hyperemesis gravidum. What is the prevention? The only prevention is to impart effective management to correct simple vomiting of the pregnancy. Basically, what is the prevention? The main prevention of this hyperemesis gravidum is to find out the early cause of the pregnancy and treat the early symptom of pregnancy. If you are having the emesis, if that is vomiting in early stage, we have to treat there only. You have to stop that vomiting there only, so it will not result in severe vomiting.
3.
Now we will see how to manage this hyperemesis gravidum condition. Okay, so it is very important to manage. Whenever a patient is diagnosed with the severe case of hyperemesis, she is admitted, and the proper treatment will be given in the hospital. She need to get hospitalized first, get admitted, and then this treatment will be start. Okay, so what treatment we can give there? We have to give her IV fluid. Okay, in the IV we have to put, and then we have to give this drop. Then nursing care, sympathetic but firm handling of the patient is essential. Social and psychological support should be extended. Hyperemesis progress chart we have to see, that is helpful to assess the progress of patient in the hospital. Daily record has to be maintained, her pulse, her temperature, her blood pressure, all this record has to be maintained. Then urine for acetone protein by urine analysis should be checked, and proper ECG should be taken. Okay. Clinical features of improvements are evident by, now when you hospitalize her, give her all this treatment, how you will come to know that she's been improving or she is fine now. So some signs are given, that is, first thing will be subside of vomiting. Her vomiting will get reduced. After that, feeling of hungry. As her vomiting will reduce, she will start having food. She feels hungry, and then you have to feed her food. Then better look. Her appearance will be clear. Disappearance of acetone from the breath. The smell which was coming from her mouth will be disappear. From her breath will be disappear. Her urine will be free from offense. That her urine will be not offensive. Normal pulse and blood pressure will be there, and normal output will be. Okay, so these are the signs of improvement which we will see in the patient. What are they? Her look will be okay, she will feel hungry, her breath will be clear, there will be no smell in the breath, her urine output will be clear, there will be no smell in the urine also. These are the symptoms which shows that she is improving. Okay. Then her diet, before the intravenous fluid is omitted, the food are given orally. Now when she is improving, that time her diet should be started, oral food should be started for her. At first, what we have to give at first? Dry carbohydrate food like biscuit, bread, toast are given. Okay, dry foods we have to give like biscuit, toast and bread. Then small but frequent feeds are recommended, and gradually full diet is restored. Okay, so once she is hospitalized, we will start her all the medications of the hospital like IV fluid or antibiotics and all those things. Okay, then when you will see that she is improving now, her things are getting back, she is feeling hungry, that time slowly you have to start her diet. Okay, like first toast, biscuit, some small amount of foods you have to give. Then slowly you have to increase her food intake like roti, chapati and all those, and then the proper diet, juices like that, and then the proper full diet should be given. Okay, suddenly after removing from the IV, don't start giving her all this chapati food and every proper food. Okay, then termination of pregnancy is rarely indicated. That hyperemesis gravidarum therapy this is okay. Basically, there will be no termination of pregnancy because hyperemesis gravidarum is manageable, and nowadays more techniques are there to manage those things. So there will be less chances of pregnancy, means discontinuation of pregnancy, and more chances are proper pregnancy. Okay. So this was our topic, hyperemesis gravidarum.
3.
So this was the topic, hyperemesis gravidarum. Is it clear to you that hyperemesis gravidarum means excess vomiting in the pregnancy? That is the vomiting of pregnancy in the first trimester, which has deleterious effect on the body of the mother and which do not allow her to do her day-to-day activity. Okay, so it has two types, early and severe. In early you don't have any signs and symptoms, but in late hyperemesis gravidarum you will see dehydration and other symptoms on the female's body. Okay, so severe case is very severe, that you have to treat her. If you diagnose the emesis early, it is good to manage. In common language, like if you eat black tea with the toast, that vomiting will be manageable. But if excess quantity, you have to hospitalize her, give her proper medication, and you have to see that mother and baby is well. Okay.
Finish.